Before people were created, there was another race living on earth. In the beginning, they lived in peace and worshipped their creator. But with time, they changed. Arrogance grew, and they started doing injustice and cruelty. Finally, Allah sent an army of angels to bring justice, and some believing jinn joined them. Leading them was a wise and brave guide named Azazil. He fought for truth and brought peace back to earth. But here is the part that will shock you. This same Azazil is the one we now know as Shaytan. Before the curse, before the rebellion, he was a devoted worshipper. We are back with a new and surprising story. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to channel name so you never miss stories like this. If you are ready, let's begin. The forgotten era before humans. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine a world before any human existed. The earth was alive, but not with people. It was ruled by another race, mysterious and powerful, the Jannah. They were made of smokeless fire, fast, strong, and full of energy. Allah gave them free will, just like He would later give to us. They had the power to choose to obey or to disobey. At first they chose well. Their lands were peaceful, their tribes lived in harmony, and they filled the earth with worship. For thousands of years they walked this world as its masters. Imagine mountains echoing with their voices, deserts alive with their gatherings, oceans crossed by their tribes. The earth belonged to them, but slowly their hearts began to change. Pride crept in, envy spread, and power became their obsession. The same hands that once prayed now raised weapons. Brother turned against brother, tribe against tribe. The earth that once knew peace now shook with screams and blood. Prophets were sent to warn them, to call them back to the truth. But the Jannah refused. They mocked their messengers. They murdered them. The world drowned in chaos. And then the skies opened. From above, an army of angels descended, blazing like stars tearing through the darkness. Their wings shook the heavens. Their presence struck fear into the corrupt ones. Leading them was one unlike any other, Azazil. Azazil was born of the jinn, but he was not like them. While his people lost their way, he stayed true. He prayed with a devotion that never faded. His heart was full of knowledge and light. His worship was so sincere that Allah raised him up among the angels. He taught them, he guided them, and he stood as their equal. Imagine that, a being of fire, honored among those created from pure light. Now he stood at the front of this army. His voice rang out with command. His courage carried the angels forward. The earth became a battlefield, fire against fire, light against darkness. And under Azazil's leadership, the corrupt Jannah were crushed. Those who survived were driven far away into remote islands, deep caves, and hidden mountains. When the dust settled, peace returned, and Azazil stood victorious. He was honored above all, respected by angels, admired by the faithful jinn. His name carried glory both in the heavens and on earth. But here is the mystery. At this moment, Azazil was a hero, a protector, a guide. If the story ended here, he would be remembered as the greatest worshipper of all time. But within him, buried deep where no one could see, was a dangerous seed, the seed of pride. And soon, with the creation of Adam, that seed would grow into a storm that would change the fate of the world forever. Azazil's rise and devotion. After the great battle against the corrupt jinn, one name echoed across the heavens, Azazil. He was not just another creature of fire, he was different. While most of his kind strayed into arrogance and violence, Azazil chose another path. He chose worship. He prayed more than anyone else. Day and night his forehead touched the ground. His devotion was so deep that Allah lifted him higher and higher. One level after another, Azazil was raised to the heavens. And wherever he went, he never stopped worshipping. Imagine this, centuries passing by, yet he never grew tired. His voice filled the skies with remembrance. His prayers were so constant that the angels who were created from pure light began to admire him. They saw a jinn made of smokeless fire, worshipping with such passion that even they were amazed. Soon Azazil became more than a worshipper. He became a teacher. Angels gathered around him, listening to his lessons. They learned from him, respected him, and even followed his guidance. Think about that for a moment. Angels who never disobey Allah, sitting with a jinn, eager to learn from his wisdom. That was how high Azazil's honor had risen. But his journey didn't stop there. Allah gave him a gift no other jinn had ever received. Azazil was allowed into paradise itself, and in those gardens he continued to worship for hundreds of years. His voice of devotion filled every corner. He was given the privilege to move freely between heaven and earth. He was admired by angels, respected by believing jinn, and remembered as a leader of both worlds. If the story ended here, Azazil would be remembered as one of the greatest servants of Allah, a name of honor, a symbol of devotion, a guide for others. But hidden inside him was something he did not see. A small seed buried deep in his heart. It was pride. Pride doesn't appear suddenly. It grows quietly, step by step, feeding on success. For Azazil, it started with his victories. He had defeated the rebellious jinn. He had been raised to the heavens. He had become a teacher of angels. He had worshipped in paradise. He had been given privileges no one else had. And then came the thought, I am not like the others. I am greater. I am special. He didn't speak it out loud. No one could hear it. But Allah knew. Allah always knows what is hidden in the heart. The test was coming. Soon Allah would announce the creation of a new being. Adam, the first human, a creature made not of fire or light, but of simple clay. This was the moment that would uncover Azazil's hidden pride. Would he accept the will of his creator, or would that seed of arrogance grow into rebellion? For now, Azazil was still the hero, still the worshipper admired by angels, still the one raised above his kind. But deep inside, his heart carried something dangerous, and soon that danger would change his story forever. The birth of pride. In the heavens, there is a record that holds every secret. It is called the preserved tablet. One day, some angels read from it. What they saw made them tremble. The writing said that a servant, very close to Allah, would one day fall. He would be rejected. He would be cursed. The angels were shocked. How could this happen? Who could it be? They rushed to Azazil, the one they trusted the most. They told him what they had read and begged him to pray for them. Azazil listened. He raised his hands and prayed for the angels. His words were strong. His voice was steady. But inside, he never once thought of himself. Not once did he ask for his own protection. Why? Because a thought had already entered his heart. A quiet whisper said, "It cannot be me. I lead the angels. I teach them knowledge. I am honored in heaven and on earth. Surely this curse is for someone else." That was the seed of pride. Pride does not shout. It does not appear suddenly. It creeps in slowly, like a shadow. It hides behind worship, behind success, behind honor. No one else could see it. The angels still admired Azazil. To them, he was the same guide, the same teacher. But Allah knew what was hidden in his heart. Azazil began to see himself as special, different, better than others. And this thought was dangerous. Worship without humility is empty. Devotion without obedience is fragile. Pride had started its work, even though no one else noticed. At this stage, Azazil was still the hero, still the worshipper who prayed more than anyone, still the leader admired in the heavens. Outwardly, nothing had changed, but inwardly, his heart was no longer the same. The angels had no idea. They still trusted him. They still followed him. But soon the test would come. Allah was about to create Adam. And with that creation, the pride in Azazil's heart would no longer stay hidden. It would come to the surface. And the truth about him would finally be revealed. The creation of Adam. Then came the moment that would change everything. Allah told the angels, "I will place a Khalifa, a successor on earth." The angels were surprised. They asked, "Will you put on earth someone who will spread bloodshed and cause trouble while we worship and praise you?" Allah replied, "I know what you do not know." The angels stayed silent, but in their hearts they wondered. Azazil also heard this announcement. It disturbed him. He thought, what does this mean? Will earth be taken away from us? Who is this new being that will replace us? His heart was not at peace. He felt uneasy. Soon he saw it. Before his eyes was the shape of a man. It was tall, but lifeless, not shining like angels, not blazing like fire. It was made of clay, simple clay, cold, silent, fragile. Azazil walked around the body, staring at every part of it. He bent down and looked closer. Then he entered through its mouth and traveled inside. He moved through the empty chest, the hollow belly, and the lifeless legs. Finally he came out again, and he thought, this creature is weak. He will need food. He will get tired. He will fall asleep. He will break. How can this fragile being ever be honored above me? Then pride whispered in his heart, I am made of fire. Fire rises high. Fire is strong. Fire burns everything in its way. But this creature is made of dirt. Dirt is low. Dirt is weak. Dirt can be crushed. Why should one made of clay be placed above me? But Allah's wisdom is far beyond what Azazil could imagine. From this body of clay, he was about to create something new, something no one had seen before. Allah breathed the soul into Adam. At once, the clay body came to life. Adam sneezed. The angel Jibreel told him, say Alhamdulillah. Adam said, Alhamdulillah. And Allah replied, my mercy be upon you, O Adam. These were the first words spoken by a human being. Words of praise, words of gratitude. Adam opened his eyes. He looked around and saw the beauty of paradise. He saw the gardens, the rivers, the fruits, and the wonders around him. His heart filled with amazement. Then Allah gave Adam a gift greater than strength. He gave him knowledge. Allah taught him the names of all things, knowledge that even the angels did not have. Adam was not just alive, he was chosen. The angels understood. They bowed their heads to Allah's wisdom. They accepted what he had decided, but Azazil did not. His heart burned with jealousy. He remembered his years of worship, his victories, his high rank, and now this new creature, weak and fragile, was to be honored above him. He could not accept it. Pride grew stronger inside him, and in his heart he promised, I will never bow to him. I will never accept him over me. This was the beginning of his fall. The creation of Adam was not only the birth of mankind, it was also the test that uncovered the truth in Azazil's heart. The command to prostrate. The test had finally come. Adam was created. He was no longer a body of clay. Allah had breathed into him a soul. He was alive. He had spoken his first words. He had been given knowledge. Even the angels did not know what Adam now carried inside him. Then Allah gave a command that shook the heavens. He said to the angels, prostrate to Adam. It was not worship. Worship belongs only to Allah. It was a command of obedience. It was a way to show honor to the one Allah had chosen. At once, all the angels obeyed. Without a moment of doubt, they bowed before Adam. The heavens filled with the sound of their obedience. Their heads touched the ground in submission, but one stood apart. Azazil. He refused to bow. He stood tall while all others lowered themselves. The same Azazil who had prayed for centuries. The same Azazil who had taught the angels. The same Azazil who had led armies against the corrupt jinn. Now he stood in defiance. Allah asked him, what stopped you from prostrating to what I created with my own hands? Azazil answered with pride burning in his chest, I am better than him. You created me from fire. You created him from clay. Fire is stronger than clay. Fire rises high. Clay is weak and low. How can I bow to one who is beneath me? In that single moment, the truth of his heart was revealed. The pride that had been hiding inside him finally came out. His arrogance spoke louder than his worship. He thought his origin gave him greatness. He thought fire was more worthy than clay. This was the fall of Azazil. The servant who once filled the heavens with prayer now stood against his Lord. The one honored among angels had become the proud rebel. His devotion was empty because his heart was corrupt. Then came the judgment. Allah said to him, leave, you are rejected. My curse will be upon you until the day of judgment. In that moment, Azazil lost everything, his honor, his light, his place among the angels. The name Azazil, once spoken with respect, was taken from him. From then on, he was called Iblis, the hopeless one, the cursed. Think about the scene. The angels bowed in humility. Adam stood honored by his creator, and Azazil, who could have remained among the blessed, chose pride. He lost in one moment what he had earned over centuries. This is the danger of arrogance. It destroys even the greatest of worshippers. Azazil's story is a warning for us all. Obedience and humility matter more than pride and position. The rebellion and the curse. After refusing to bow, Azazil had shown what was in his heart. His pride was no longer hidden. He had stood against the command of Allah. From that moment, he was no longer Azazil, the honored worshipper. He became Iblis, the cursed one. But before he was cast out completely, he made a request. He said, my Lord, give me time. Do not destroy me now. Let me live until the day of resurrection. Allah, in his wisdom, granted his request. Iblis was allowed to live until the end of time, but this was not a reward. It was a test, a rope given to him that would only pull him closer to his final destruction. Iblis then revealed his true plan. He said, "Because you have cursed me, I will not stop. I will sit on your straight path. I will come to them from the front, from behind, from their right side, and from their left. I will surround them from every direction, and most of them will not be grateful." These words were more than anger. They were a promise. From that moment, Iblis declared war. Not a war with swords, not a war with weapons, but a war of whispers, a war of the heart. He knew his power was not in strength, but in deception. He would not fight humans face to face. Instead, he would whisper in their hearts. He would make lies look like truth. He would make sin look sweet. He would make pride look like honor. He would confuse people until they forgot who their creator was. This was the birth of a war that still continues today. A war that started in the heavens but now lives inside every human being. It is not fought with armies. It is fought in silence, in choices, in small moments every day. Allah answered Iblis with clear words, "Leave, disgraced and rejected. My curse will be upon you until the day of judgment. And whoever follows you, I will fill hell with all of you together." The angels heard this, Adam heard this, and the heavens shook with the weight of that judgment. Iblis had lost everything. The light he once carried was gone. The honor he once had was taken. The name Azazil, once spoken with respect, was no more. From now on, he would only be remembered as Iblis, the hopeless one. Think about the change. This was the same being who had prayed for centuries, who had led angels in battle, who had once been admired for his devotion. But one act of pride destroyed it all. In a single moment, he went from the highest ranks of the heavens to the lowest depths of rejection. Now he had nothing left but hatred. Hatred for Adam. Hatred for Adam's children. Hatred for the reminder of what he had lost. He swore that he would not stop until he dragged as many as possible into destruction with him. This is why his traps are endless. He whispers into hearts. He makes people forget to pray. He tempts them with greed and anger. He pushes them toward arrogance, the same disease that destroyed him. And when people fall into his trap, he laughs, believing he has won. But Allah made one thing clear. Iblis cannot harm the true servants of Allah, those who stay sincere, those who stay humble, those who hold firmly to their faith. They are protected. His whispers are weak against them. His tricks fail when the heart is full of remembrance. The rebellion of Iblis and his curse is not just an old story. It is our story. It is the battle we live in every day. Every human heart is a battlefield. Every choice we make is part of that war. Every act of obedience is a victory against him, and every act of pride is a step toward his side. Iblis began this war the day he refused to bow, and he will not stop until the day of judgment. His curse is his mission, his pride is his weapon, and his whispers are the battle we face every day. The first test of Adam and Hawa. Adam was given a home in paradise. From his side, Allah created Hawa so that he would not be alone. Together they lived in peace. They walked through gardens full of fruits. Rivers flowed around them. Every blessing was within reach. There was no hunger, no pain, no sadness. Allah gave them one clear command. He said they could eat freely from anywhere in paradise. Nothing was forbidden except for one tree. He warned them, "Do not go near this tree." It was a simple test, a test of obedience and trust. For a time, Adam and Hawa lived happily. They enjoyed the blessings around them. But Iblis was watching. His heart was full of jealousy and hate. He had sworn to mislead mankind, and now he saw his first chance. He came to Adam and Hawa not with threats, but with whispers. He made his voice gentle, his words soft, as if he cared for them. He said, "Your Lord only forbade you this tree, so that you would not become angels or live forever. If you eat from it, you will gain what is hidden from you." Iblis even swore an oath. He promised he was giving sincere advice. But his promise was a lie. His whisper was a trap. Hawa listened first. She looked at the tree. The fruit seemed beautiful. Curiosity and desire grew in her heart. Slowly, she reached out, picked the fruit, and ate. Nothing happened. No punishment came. She was still safe. She turned to Adam and said, "I ate, and nothing happened to me. You should try it too." Adam hesitated. He remembered the command of Allah. He remembered the warning. But then he looked at Hawa. She was smiling. She was fine. He forgot his promise. He reached for the fruit and ate. The moment the fruit touched their throats, everything changed. Their heavenly garments disappeared. They stood uncovered. For the first time, shame entered their hearts. They rushed to cover themselves with leaves, but the peace they once felt was gone. Then Allah spoke. His voice carried both judgment and mercy. Go down to earth. Some of you will be enemies to others. There you will live for a time. There you will die, and from it you will be raised again. In that moment, Adam and Hawa were no longer in paradise. They were sent down to earth, the place that would be their test. Paradise was behind them. The journey of mankind had begun. This was the first test of humanity, the first mistake, and the beginning of the great struggle between mankind and Iblis, a struggle that continues to this very day. The lesson of the fallen hero. Azazil was once a name of honor. He stood among the highest ranks. Angels admired him. They listened to his teachings. He prayed for centuries without rest. He led armies of angels against the corrupt. His place was close to Allah, and his future seemed bright. But one hidden thought destroyed it all. It was not a lack of worship. It was not weakness in prayer. It was pride. A small seed of arrogance grew in his heart, and that seed pulled him down. When Adam was created, Azazil could not accept it. He looked at the clay body and thought, I am better than him. I am made of fire. He is made of clay. With those words, he lost everything. This story is not just about him. It is a warning for us. We may pray, we may fast, we may hold respect among people. But if pride enters our hearts, all of it can be wasted. Worship without humility is empty. Think about it. The angels were not honored because of what they were made of. They were honored because they obeyed. Adam was not honored because of clay. He was honored because Allah gave him knowledge and mercy. True greatness is not in fire or clay. It is not in wealth, power, or looks. True greatness is in obedience and humility. Azazil forgot this. That is why he became Iblis. His worship could not save him. His knowledge could not protect him. His pride blinded him. And once he said, I am better, he was cursed forever. This is the lesson of the fallen hero. Pride can destroy even the most devoted. Arrogance can turn worship into nothing. The heart that says, I am greater, is the heart that falls. We must never repeat his mistake. We must never let pride guide us. Instead, we bow in humility. We remember that every blessing we have comes from Allah, and just as he gave, he can take it away. The story of Azazil is the story of a hero who fell, but it is also a mirror for us. His fall warns us to stay humble, to stay grateful, and to never let pride blind our hearts. And that is the forgotten story of Azazil, the hero who became the villain, the worshipper who turned into Shaytan. From the rise of the jinn to the creation of Adam, this is a story of devotion, pride, and downfall. If you found this story eye-opening, remember this: it is not just history. It is a warning for every one of us. Pride destroys, humility saves. I'll be sharing more untold stories like this, so stay connected. And if you enjoyed this, make sure to like this video and subscribe to channel name so you never miss the stories that matter most.